seem to get right at the hot time. They're hot at
right at the hot time.
they are hot at the beginning of the season, and they sizzle out toward the end of the season. It never fails.
They do. They're not right at the hot time. They're not.
So, why I am going to give you the floor first here. Tell me about the Raiders.
Well, I'll tell you what, in the preseason they play the Jags, and I think that's going to be a tough. No, I'm just kidding. They've got a tough. Really, this AFC West has got a tough run at it this year. They all have to play the NFC West. They've got to play the AFC West twice. So they got a major setback right there. But still, these teams are really good and capable. So with that being said, I think they start out the season 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0. They win their first 4 games. They lose to the Chiefs. Then they beat the Texans. That's 5-1. They'll beat the Saints. That's 6-1. They'll beat the Jags. That's 7-1. They lose to the Colts. 7-2. They'll beat the Broncos. 8-2. So let's see, that's 8 wins. Seattle, they'll beat Seattle. That's 9 wins. They'll lose to the Chargers there. They'll lose to the Rams. They'll beat the Patriots. That's 10 wins. They'll lose to the Steelers.
Oh.
Yeah. Steelers are a sneaky team this year. I really think so.
I was thinking about the Patriots because isn't Bill Belichick undefeated against his former assistants in the NFL?
You're thinking of Nick Saban.
But I thought Bill Belichick was...
Maybe. I mean, They're both in the same stature there.
Right.
So that could be. I mean, technically, Nick Saban is the Bill Belichick of college football. So I'm not 100% sure. He probably is, though. That's, now that I think about it, he probably is. And with that being said, yeah, because it's been Matt Patricia in Detroit, trash. I don't know, man. Josh McDaniels got a heck of a squad here. I think Josh McDaniels could be the first one, and they're playing in Vegas too, so that just adds to it. That just adds to it right there. And McDaniels knows Belichick better than anybody outside of, I would say, Tom Brady in the National Football League. So Belichick Josh McDaniels has been his right hand man for the longest time. So I think if anybody's going to do it, it's probably going to be McDaniels. So with that being said, I'll give them the win there. I got them at 10 wins. Then they play the Niners. I'll say they lose that, and then I'll say that they beat the Chiefs in their last game on January 8th. And I'll give them 11 wins. I'll say they're 11-6 this year.
Wow. So
good team. It's a good football team. And don't mistake that 11-6 for being like a non-Super Bowl contender. Because normally we look at the teams that have 13 wins and we're like, 12 and up wins are your Super Bowl contenders. This is a Super Bowl contender, 100%. All 4 AFC West teams, if any of the AFC West teams that make the playoffs are a Super Bowl contender. I don't care if they're a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seed. It does not matter. They are all Super Bowl contenders, and it doesn't matter where they come in at.
Wow. So we do agree on a couple things here. Is it if a AFC West team does make it to the playoffs, they're definitely going to be Super Bowl contenders. We do agree on the Week 18 game as well, where the Raiders will beat the Kansas City Chiefs. But that is pretty much where our agreement stops here. Why I had the Raiders going 6-11 this particular season. I had them losing to the Chargers opening weekend. I had them beating the Cardinals week 2. The Titans, they lose to the Titans. They beat the Broncos at home. They lose to the Chiefs on Monday night here. And this is where their season just starts to go downhill. They have a bye week. And what happens last year on the Raiders during the bye week? Oh, that's right. Henry Ruggs decides to drive 115 miles an hour and kill a dog, right? Houston Texans come into town, and I think the Houston Texans and Davis Mills beat the Raiders in Week 7. The Saints beat the Raiders in Week 8. The Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Raiders in Week 9. The wheels are falling off here. Why are you catching the drift here? Week 10.
No, I'm not catching any of your drift.
Week 10, the Colts beat the Raiders in Vegas. Week 11, the Raiders travel to Mile High, lose to the Broncos. Finally, Week 12, they get a win over the Seahawks. And then they're like, hey, Week 13, let's win one more. So they beat the Chargers here. Why? Do you know what happens when you win 3 games in a row? It's called a winning streak, right? It is called a winning streak. Well, guess what? The Raiders don't know what a winning streak is because then they travel to LA and get their ass whooped by the Rams. And then Bill Belichick comes into town and says, bad baby Josh McDaniels, you should have stayed here. Whoops that ass. Pittsburgh Steelers whoop that ass. And then finally, the final 2 weeks of the season, the San Francisco 49ers are playing for nothing. Like at this point, they are already their faith is pretty much sealed at 8-9. Like at this point, they lose that game. The Kansas City Chiefs don't know what they're playing for, so they lose in Las Vegas as well. I had them going 6-11 this season. Why? Finishing last in the division. You can talk about Devontae Adams all you want. You can talk about how good Derek Carr is all you want. The fact of the matter is, they are still the Las Vegas Raiders. You still have a unproven head
last year, Las
coach.
Vegas Raiders.
What's that?
The playoff team last year, Las Vegas Raiders. Hey, I got this little notepad here, and let's see what's written down here. Okay, yeah, that's about right. What's that say there? Oh yeah, Buck is crazy. Are you kidding me?
No, man.
You're losing it.
How am I losing it? Yeah, come on, man. Come on, baby.